There's a quote from the film Jerry Maguire where he talks about his sort of first agent he worked for. And the old agent's quote is, if you don't love everybody, you can't sell anybody. I photograph a lot of famous people, and that has its own challenges of getting someone to trust you very quickly. But I don't really think that's what I need to talk about so much in this course, because I'm basing this idea that you're photographing people that you know, your mates, members of your family, your loved ones. So what I'm more interested in here is, I know this person, how do I get what I want out of them? And what I want out of everyone is some form of story and some form of feeling alive, because I want their full attention, and attention goes quickly. You know, I've seen photo shoots where they've spent all day trying to get one beauty shoot, and someone comes in and moves a hair here or puts something back or looks at it and goes, oh no, the lip colour's wrong, and you go off and they change the lip colour on the girl, come back. I love the idea that you've got your camera and you've got your time. Often it's 3 seconds or 1 second. You know, you're out at a party with people. How do you take a picture that if everyone looked at you and did that, would be boring as hell and they'd all have double chins? Or to making it alive. How do you make it alive? You encourage people, you're behind the camera, you're telling them what you want out of them. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes you're also observing. So there are two elements here. There is the observer and the participant. And I think probably in maybe 70, 80% of my photos now, I'm a participant. I'm getting reactions. I'm creating I'm lighting the fuse to create the drama in the picture. Growl. Thank you. So for now, we'll concentrate on being the participant in the photo along with your subject. 3, 2, 1, go.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
Of course I got it. Frequently, certainly when I first met someone, I'll often ask someone to move with me, and I'll start running backwards, and I'll ask them to run to me, or I'll ask them to laugh with me, or I'll ask them to tell me a joke, or they'll tell me a story, and I'll say, no, tell it to the lens. You know, I want to see this story to the lens, rather than looking off here talking to me. Talk to my camera. Often if there's someone else with me, you'll find a subject starts talking to the person next to you. And I'm always going, no, talk to me. And if they can't get their heads around that, whoever's next to me has to go away, because I want my lens to be the subject of their attention. You'll see pictures I've done in parties where you'll literally see my hand and a glass clinking, cheersing with people as I'm taking the shots.
Cheers.
Fist bumps, high fives. Any form of interaction that makes the person looking at the picture feel like it's a first-person experience. It's like they are inside feeling the energy of that moment. You know, if people are dancing, I'm dancing with them. If people are running, I'm running next to them or in front of them or behind them, having them turn around as they go. Anything that keeps the energy going and means that I suppose their eyes are alive, that's what I look for. In practical terms, ways that I get people to respond is I talk to them, and I'm often talking as I'm shooting.
What is the quality you most like in a gentleman?
Steadfastness.
I always look at them. You'll often see, if people see me taking pictures, my eyes are very often over the camera and I'm looking at people, looking for a glance. Or maybe I set up a picture and I've got it all right, and then I come over and I I'll pull an expression.
What is that face?
And they're sort of, sometimes they're almost embarrassed, and then they go, and they chuckle, and I go click. And I get something that feels alive. When I first meet people, especially if it's someone I know and we got on really well and I haven't seen them for several months, it often happens on a red carpet at an award show, for instance. I will literally avoid my eyes. I will avert my eyes from their glare and try and be as small as I can, which isn't easy for me, but try and be as small as I can. And I'm getting my camera ready and I'm making sure everything's right for the picture. And I know, because I use a particular lens, which is very similar to the lens on your phone, the standard lens. I know my distance. My optimal distance from my subject is somewhere between 1 and 2 meters. Sometimes it's a little closer, but generally maybe 0.7 of a metre to 2 metres. So I need to be in that zone before I recognise them or before they recognise me. And even if they've seen me coming, I'm not going to give them my eyes. They're not going to get it until they're where I need them to be. And then it's, hey, bum, 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 how are you? Boo, lovely to see you, man. Great, are you well? And you're just getting this energy. And the picture's over. It's over in a second. Get the sparkle. I photograph a lot at award shows. And sometimes someone will come off, they have an Oscar or a BAFTA or a Golden Globe, and they'll come off the stage and they're literally like that. Or worse, they're like that. There's just nothing. There's nothing going on. Which, there are cases that may be the picture, but there are other cases that just isn't the picture. It's just not interesting. And I often have to say to people, dude, you just won. I was like, smile, you just won, And of course, winning is, has been a big focus of their attention for a while, or, maybe it hasn't, but in most cases it has. And they've won and they haven't had the relief yet. They're still in shock. You have to get that out of people sometimes. So if you think, you're at a friend's wedding, you just got married, smile, you just had a baby, smile, you just passed your degree, you just passed your driving test, you just got a pay rise, you just got the biggest bonus you've ever had, These are reasons to be happy. It doesn't mean that you're going to take a happy picture. So maybe you need to help to direct that so that you get the image that tells a story that you're trying to tell. Now we're going to talk about being an observer. The observer does not get in their face. The observer often deliberately hides behind the camera because he doesn't want to catch their eye and take them out of wherever they are. And this could be times of reflection, could be times of extreme sadness, could be times of extreme joy where they're in such a joyful moment themselves, something that's in some way private, and then you're sort of stealing the moment. Now, that doesn't mean you're stealing it in a nasty way, but you have nothing to do with the drama that's happening in front of you. You are simply there to record it. In situations like that, I try and become very small, and my body language is very humble. I'm not bouncing into walls and trying to move people out the way. I often find myself going low as well. I'll often sit on the floor or, lean into a wall and do something that I suppose pulls me away from the action so that I can just observe it. So there's a decision you make, which is, am I going to be the observer or am I going to be a participant here? Sometimes it's very obvious. People are so in a moment of joy or sadness, that to step in and be a sort of big lens in the middle of it, be a big personality in the middle of it, is completely inappropriate. But other times I switch between it. There may be a time that I'll be photographing someone getting ready in a hotel room, for instance. They'll greet me and I'll photograph them as they're greeting me, and then I'm the participant. And sometimes they may be doing their lips in a mirror and I'm completely an observer, just watching it from the side. So it's not even what am I today, it's what am I for this next frame. There's a lot of gauging people's moods. Are you going to enhance someone's mood by interacting with them? Are you going to possibly, damage their mood by staying quiet and taking pictures that maybe they wish you'd asked permission to take? It's a juggle. It's a total juggle. And I suppose that's why one of the most important things to a good photographer is empathy, is understanding, not only when to step in, but when to step out, when not to take a picture, when to be small, when to observe, and when to try and be the life and soul of the party. When I look through people's Instagram feeds, I think, probably for the most part, I think they should be more of a participant. If I had to make a decision and keep all of my photos I've taken as a participant, or all of them I've taken as an observer, I would probably hold on to the ones where I was a participant. And I think a part of that is that the pictures you take as a participant really reflect you. You know, you look at certain photographers, if you look at, say, someone like Rankin, a friend of mine, you sense Rankin in his pictures. There's a playfulness and a cheekiness, and it's almost like everyone in a Rankin picture sort of takes a bit of Rankin's personality, and that's what's presented. And I think that where you can show the world you through your pictures, then you've really started to succeed as a photographer. The same argument can definitely be put to observational photographs. You know, it's what are you choosing to observe? It's all us showing the world how we see the world. You know, that's really what a large part of photography is, or all of photography is. Everything that you're hearing on this course or learning on this course is completely transferable when you want to be the subject of the picture. Both when you're doing a selfie, the only problem is you've got the natural length of your arm, or you're sticking your camera or leaning it on a wall or putting it on a tripod on a self-timer, or when you give the camera to someone else to take a picture of you. If you already know this is the best part of this environment, this is an interesting thing that I'll stand out against. You want to look like you're having fun, so you laugh to the camera, or you want to look like you're contemplating something. You've got all these skills for you as a photographer. All you need to do is say, please stand there. Please take the picture when I do this. Please run alongside of me. Please lie on the floor and look up at me, because you already know what you're doing. So that person that's taking your picture is really taking your picture, as in the photo you want. It's all about direction. If you're photographing someone for the first time that you haven't met, and especially if they're a little dubious of being photographed, I think personally the best thing you can bring to the table is positivity. Oh, dude, this is so good. Do that again. You're selling what you do when you go in and you meet someone. Doesn't mean it's professional, there's money exchanging hands, but you're selling, this is how I view the world, please participate in it.
Say that again.
Nobody really knows how to have fun except you and I.
Except us.
Except us. Hollywood sign!
So we've got to
Greg,
get over there
we're in
more.
Hollywood.
I go in to every shoot with a real big smile on my face, right? And a real positive, genuine attitude. I don't photograph people I know I'm not going to like. I literally have no interest in doing it. I go in with the intention of really getting on well with whoever I shoot. And when you have that positive attitude, it is infectious. And so I think that's the first trick you have up your sleeve.
Good to see you, man.
Then, sure, you can show them other pictures you've taken in the style, so they get some idea of what you're doing. But ultimately, go in with a big smile on your face and be genuine. Don't sort of like hate them underneath, but try and be nice just for the picture. Just love everybody and you'll get lovely results.
Is that your greatest moment?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, probably.
Lovely.
I mean, you see how I'm talking to you on this course. This is how I might be talking to my subjects, you know? Big smile, beaming ideas, excited eyes, and a real sort of willingness to take a really great picture.
Times are changing now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Take a photo
Well,
so they can see what I'm doing here. Look totally straight on. That's the one. So a bit of homework. When you're photographing subjects, take a friend and encourage that friend to laugh at you. And do whatever you have to do over or behind the camera to make them laugh. It might be that you pull a funny face. It might be that you just shout at them and tell them to laugh. It might be that you cackle with laughter at them yourself. I once had to do a whole campaign for Comic Relief, and it just involved me laughing hysterically at the subjects and getting them to laugh back at me. So I want a photo of people genuinely laughing, and you've got to do whatever you have to do to make them laugh. And the second piece of homework is to take a photo as an observer. So what I'd like you to do is photograph someone that is doing something. They could be working, could be doing homework, they could be running on a treadmill, they could be playing their Xbox, whatever the hell they're doing. You take a picture which shows them in a process of doing something where you don't feel the presence of you as the photographer. You feel them in process.